It's pro-transgender medical officials admitting that minors are being transitioned without any restrictions whatsoever. Watch this.
The youngest we've seen come here that they are trans has been 8, 9.
We deal with patients that come in at 10, they come here by themselves.
We had a 14, 15-year-old who was still undocumented.
Has she been able to start like hormone
She just started, yeah, she started hormones as well.
And we do not provide the authorities any of our records. We don't care if you see a licensed therapist or not. We don't require that at all. So we brought in our own therapist to write up letters to rubber stamp our surgeries.
As long as I know that even though he's not here legally, he's able to be seen. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyone who says that you can change your sex is lying to you. You will be chasing constant drugs and surgeries for the rest of your life.
10 years old come in by themselves?
10, 11, yes.
But there is funding to help people like him, even though he's not here legally.
Yeah, I've seen patients that have came here from like another country, and they come back and I see them and they don't even have to pay nothing out of pocket.
And he is getting his vagina next week.
And they have to understand that the surgery itself is irreversible.
This Project Veritas investigation exposes a booming business of transgender surgeries, hormones, and puberty blockers for underage children, on its way to being a $1 billion a year industry.
At New York's Mount Sinai Adolescent Health Center, hospital staff told us they need young patients.
I think that's good. I think we've seen enough. This is absolutely ghoulish. This is the end days of Rome kind of stuff, where every moral code is in the absolute garbage, that they are doing these medical experiments on the most vulnerable amongst us, not allowing natural puberty to take its course, where most of these issues will resolve themselves. There's no such thing as a tomboy anymore. Those are just future boys, I guess. The absolute evil of these people to transition 10, 11, 12-year-olds, bringing in yes men therapists who will just say, yep, rubber stamp this one. This is a boy. Come in the door one day and then getting what they call a neo vagina the next day or the next week. I mean, this is horrific. I look at all of these kids as future suicides that didn't need to be. 41% of people who are gender confused, like transgender, will attempt suicide within the year, I think is the statistic. Like 2 in 5, greater than 2 in 5. That's insane. What are we doing to these people? You want to talk about a genocide on the transgender community? Oh, there is one, but it's not the way these people say. It's what we're doing to them and calling treatment. That's what's causing the genocide. It's a slow roll, though. It takes a few years.
And by the way, transgenderism always been exist, okay? It touch a really, really, really short percentage of the population. It's come from a distortion of gender, and people are the transition because they have no other treatment than doing so, and they have seen people as psychologists and people who did follow them for years, and they took the decision all together because it's the only option for them to feel better. Now they are teaching young kids that, oh, whatever you want to be, you can be so. I'm sorry, no. If you feel not in the good body, it's because you have a mental distortion of genderism, and you need to see someone, and you need to see it for a while to be really sure that what do you have, it is this, because as I say, it's such a really short percentage of the population, not like at large as they say to people. And afterwards, like children are say, oh yeah, I can be like now, like a little boy say, I can be a little woman, I will have a friend, I will be popular at school, and so I should do it. it. And like afterwards, they will start the whole process that to reach a certain age and say, what did I do? And now it's too late. I cannot come back. And what the other option left, because now they think that they are a monster, they will commit suicide.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. If you are medically intervening with surgical alterations for what is a mental health crisis, of course you're not addressing the problem. Of course you're still going to have the mental health crisis after the fact. It's going to be exacerbated by the fact that you've done terrible things to your body. But a lot of times these issues resolve on their own without any sort of intervention, psychological or otherwise. It was at the oh shoot, I can't remember the name of the clinic in Toronto that actually deals with transgender surgeries. And it was their study that found that the majority of gender dysphoria resolves itself after natural puberty takes place and is complete. So yeah, as your body's changing, you're not happy with it. It's kind of weird. You don't know what's going on. You're like, oh, I used to be able to do all these fun things when I didn't have boobs and all these things, and my clothes fit differently and I could kind of run with the guys. And then all of a sudden, estrogen kicks you in the back and your body changes as a young girl. And you're like, well, I liked how I was before, until you figure out that actually you kind of like yourself a little bit after, and so do the guys. So these things resolve on their own if you just leave them alone. Quit cutting up kids. That's where I am on this. People often say, you know, like, how do you feel about this stuff? And I'm like, I don't care. I really don't care, except insofar as you make me care. Don't make me use your pronouns. Don't use the government to make me use your pronouns. Get out of my sports. Get out of my kids' sports. Get out of my bathrooms and quit transing the kids. That's all I care about. Everything else, I'm too busy doing other things to care about how people live their lives. I just wish that the other side would stop and consider the irreparable harm they're doing to a generation of kids through this social contagion.
And especially because during the old pandemic, we cut the social moment to the kids, not stopping them to see their friend, stopping them to go to school, and that actually bring them to be affected by it. Now, a lot of mental problem and issue have raised since this pandemic, and now suddenly, use the pronoun that you want. You can be whatever you want. You can transition on the sex you want. Whoa. This is actually really a big shock for children to pass to completely being alone to this kind of crazy environment.
Yeah. I know. And it's so outrageous that they're talking about transing 10, 11, 12-year-old kids. Those kids can't even get their ears pierced without a signature of a parent. I've got a very well-rounded 16-year-old, very level-head, very calm, kind of scoldy, goes to church all the time. And she's like, Mama, I've given some thought to this. I want a tattoo. I know the exact tattoo that I want. And my answer was obviously no, like 100% no. And I'm covered in tattoos. But some of them I got when I was in my 20s, and I'm working on covering them up. I can't imagine deciding to ink up my body forever at 16. I shouldn't even be considering it at 43 sometimes. But I can't. She couldn't walk into a tattoo shop and get a tattoo. But if she walked into school and said, actually, I'm a boy, they'd be like, all right, off to the therapist's office. We're changing your name.
And now they are using, I'm sorry for saying that, but they are using drag queen to indoctrinate children. Because, okay, drag queen is not a trans, but some people think that they are, because behind a woman, there is a man.
Right. And we're supposed to talk about the drag queens as though they are trans and not performers, right? So if you're critical of a drag queen, then all of a sudden you're transphobic, even though they're not trans.
Yeah.
I'm critical of drag queens the same way I don't like mimes and clowns scare me. It's a performance that I don't like. And that's just my taste. I don't think it's for kids. This is an adult burlesque show. But if you're critical of it, you're not critical of the art form. All of a sudden you're transphobic. So they've really got you coming and going if you are against indoctrinating kids this way. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I would just say, because when it's like drag queen story time and they have like protests in the front of it, they are not drag queen activists who are actually calling out like the fact that we are stopping the drag queen show. This is the trans activists who say like trans child life matters. Yeah, but it's two different things. We don't talk about the same thing. Why you bring that up?
See the Satanists? Like, why? See,
this is Antifa.
This is not good for me, because I'm always like, this is the devil at work. These people are demoniacs. Like they've got a demon. And then they go around acting like they have a demon, and then they show up with a pentagram, and I'm like, I wish I were exaggerating, but I guess I'm a bit of an oracle. That's a clip from something we call Rebel News Daily. It's our daily live stream hosted by my friend David Menzies, but the show also includes a rotating cast of hosts and special guests, including me. It's a great way for us to talk about the news of the day as the news is happening in an unscripted fashion, and it's an awesome way for you to interact with us as well. We stream every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, wherever you find Rebel News. See you there.